Good morning. Today is February the 6th, 2025. The time is approximately 9:05 a.m. We're here today for the application hearing for Rio's Bar LLC doing business as Rio Bar located at 4067 South Grand Avenue. Mrs. Francine Wallace filed an application on October the 23rd to be a bar at this location. Present today is Ms. Mildred Bell Givens, the Executive Secretary for the Excise Division, Mrs. Anitra Williams, the Liquor Control Officer conducting the investigation, Mrs. Virginia Kilgone, an agent for the applicant. Let the record reflect that no persons appeared in opposition to the issuance of this license. Also, let the record reflect that Ms. Wallace was unable to attend due to medical reasons. And I am Gwendolyn Cherry Sims, Liquor Control Supervisor, acting in the absence of the Excise Commissioner, Mr. Miles McDonald. Ms. Williams, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth regarding your investigation of the findings for the property owner and occupant tenant category?
Yes.
Would you read your report for the record?
My report states for property owners, the applicant submitted there were a total of 76 property owners. The majority of property owners was 39. The applicant presented 40 valid signatures, which made them one over.
Ms. Jenny, do you have any objections to that?
No.
Would you continue, Ms. Williams?
In my tenant occupant, there were 25. There were 56. Of the 56, the majority was 29. The tenant sign were 25, the occupant sign were 5, which made it 30, and they were one over.
Thank you. Ms. Jenny, do you have any objections to the rendering of Mrs. Williams' occupant tenant category?
No.
Okay. At this time, I want to place on the record the file of Rio Bar LLC as Excise Exhibit 1. For Excise Exhibit 2, I want to place a certified copy of Ordinance 71819. And for Excise Exhibit 3 will be the investigation summary sheet, including the summary of investigation of Mrs. Anitra Williams. Do the applicant have any additional liquor licenses that we are not abreast of?
No.
Okay. At this time, I conducted a investigation to see if we had any calls for service for this location. The police department reported no calls for service, that this particular entity or establishment address is not on the nuisance list at this time. We want to make sure that all things are being reported to the Excise Division when they happen. Okay. At this time, I have no questions. Based up on the findings that was rendered by the applicant, that they have met the burden of proof of a majority of occupant tenants, and they have met the burden of proof of a majority of property owners. I hereby approve the issuance of the full drink liquor license and summer garden permit for the Rio Bar LLC doing business as Rio Bar located at 4067 South Grand Avenue. Understanding that any decision that I make today here, it can be appealable through circuit court. Do you have any questions at this time?
No.
At this time, I conclude this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning again. Today is February the 6th, 2025. We're here today for the application hearing for Time to Play LLC doing business as Playtime Sports Bar located at 7023 South Grand. South Broadway. Mr. Torrey Orr is the managing officer. The application was filed on October the 22nd. Miss Jenny is present today in the absence of the applicant. She's an agent for the applicant. They are applying for a full drink, not a restaurant, just a full drink liquor license with the Summer Garden.
Mhm.
Okay. At this time, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put my exhibits on the record first. I wanna make exhibit 1, certified copy of ordinance 71819. Excise exhibit 2 is going to be the excise file for Time to Play LLC, doing business as Playtime Sports Bar and Grill. I'm gonna yield for one moment. I'm gonna swear Ms. Williams in. Ms. Williams, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth regarding your investigation for the findings of the majority or of occupant tenants and property owners for the application?
Yes.
Would you state your findings?
Time to Play, the total property owners, they had 31, the majority was 17. They turned in 17 signed property owners, so they were at majority.
Ms. Jenny, do you have any questions at this time?
No. On the tenant occupant side, they had 12 total. Of the 12, the majority was 7. Of the 7, 4 tenants signed, 3 occupants signed, which made it a total of 7. They were at majority.
Ms. Jenny, do you have any questions regarding Mrs. Williams' findings?
No.
At this time, I want to add excise exhibit 3, the summary of investigations and spreadsheet of liquor control officer Anitra Williams regarding the 2 majorities that the applicant met. The burden of proof in order to be successful for an application. Do this particular applicant have any additional liquor licenses that were not disclosed?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Let the record indicate that Mr. Torrey Orr is listed as the 100% managing officer and shareholder for this LLC. Mr. Orr did not attend the hearing today, was stated by the agent to be working. Therefore, Mr. Orr is not here. I want to make sure that the record know that we did a review of calls for service from the police department. They indicated that they had no calls for service at this time. We also checked to see if it was anything within the neighborhood that would determine that this particular premise being there would be detrimental to the neighborhood. At no time did we find any of that. We checked the nuisance database and found out this particular location is not a part of the nuisance problem properties at this time. We ask that anything that go on or about the liquor license premise that is reported to our office. Okay. Do you have any questions, Ms. Jenny?
No.
Okay. Based upon the findings that Mrs. Williams submitted, being that the applicant received 2 simple majorities of property owners and occupant tenants, I hereby approve the issuance on the surface of that Mr. Orr has filed, Mr. Torrey Orr has filed a true and accurate application. Therefore, I approve this issuance of the full drink and Sunday license, and I conclude this hearing at this time.
Thank you.
Today is February 6, 2025. The time is approximately 9:33 a.m. We are here today for the full package and Sunday package liquor license application for Hum and Forgo Corp. Doing business as the 7-Eleven store number 19279G, located at 2807 Sulphur Avenue. We have present today the Excise Executive Secretary, Ms. Mildred Bell Gibbons. We have Liquor Control Officer, Ms. Donna Wisdom. We have Mr. H, AKA
Humayun Najrabi.
Mr. Narabi,
Yeah.
as the agent.
Yes.
And myself, Gwendolyn Cherry Sims, acting in the absence of the Excise Commissioner. I am a Liquor Control Supervisor. Mr. Narabi filed his application for a full package liquor license on September the 27th of 2024. Mr. Robbie indicate that he does not have any additional liquor license applications. However, he has been employed by a liquor license establishment.
Yes.
Prior to going on the record, we kind of gave a brief overview of what we're doing here today. Mr. H,
Yes, ma'am.
you okay? Apologize, Mr. H.
Very fine.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to enter a few items on the record. We're going to indicate that Excise Exhibit 1, this is a certified copy of the ordinance in which we are governed by. This is ordinance 71819. Do you have any objections to us entering this on the record?
No.
The next thing that we're going to enter on the record is Excise Exhibit 2 is the file of the applicant that the Excise Division house here. Do you have any objections to that?
No.
We're going to yield for one moment. We're going to swear Ms. Wisdom in. Ms. Wisdom, do you raise your right hand? Do you state to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, that you conducted this investigation in the course of your duties?
I do.
Would you give me your report on property owners, ma'am?
There are 41 property owners in the radius, the majority of that being 22. He got 23 signatures, which makes him one over.
Mr. H, do you have any objections to her findings based upon your property owner category?
No, ma'am. I don't believe so.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, would you give your report regarding occupant tenants, please?
There are a total of 36 in the circle, the majority being 19. He was able to obtain 20 signatures, which places him one over.
Mr. H, do you have any objections to?
No, ma'am.
At this time, I want to render Excise Exhibit 3, the findings and the summary of investigation and report submitted by Liquor Control Officer Donna Wilson to the record. Do you have any objections?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay?
No.
At this time, those exhibits have been entered. One of the things that the Excise Division have to do is we review data, we review calls for service, we review things as per ordinance that we have to make sure that your establishment would not be detriment to the neighborhood in which you're going to do business. We did find calls for service from the previous owner, okay?
What do you mean calls for service?
Police reports, calls for service, where you all call the police, or the establishment had to utilize the police for services, for different behaviors that may have happened on or about the licensed premise.
Because of liquor?
May
I'm
not
aware-
totally by
Yeah.
liquor, but they were calls for service pertaining to that address of
Yes, ma'am.
2807.
I am
South.
aware of that, yes.
Okay. Are you aware that under the ordinance that the responsibility of a license holder
Yes, ma'am.
is to make sure that you notify the police department, state liquor control, and the city of St. Louis, which is us, Excise Division, anytime that improper acts occur on or about your premise?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so we're not holding you accountable for these because that was under the prior license holder, but it's our responsibility to review those, to make you abreast of elements that may have or could possibly occur on or about your licensed premise. So to make you more aware, to notify the respective departments when things happen,
Okay.
okay? based upon the findings, we didn't find that they would be detrimental to you obtaining a liquor license. We also looked in the database of nuisance property. We did not see your address listed as a nuisance property, and we want to keep it that way.
Okay.
We never want a liquor establishment to be on the nuisance list.
Mhm.
We want to be good neighbors, good stewards. We don't want the behavior that the quality of life is being affected by a liquor
Yeah, I
establishment.
don't think anybody does that.
Yeah, so, that's what we just want to make you aware, to make sure that you call and contact this office in writing of any improper acts that occur on your premise, okay? Do you have any additional questions at this time?
No.
Okay. Talked about the nuisance things, okay. Based upon the findings that Liquor Control Officer Donna Wisdom submitted, that the applicant obtained 2 simple majorities of property owners and occupant tenants within the 350-foot radius, I, Gwendolyn Cherry, hereby approve the issuance of the full package and Sunday package license for the premises located at 2807 Suffolk Avenue.
Thank you.
At this time, I conclude this hearing.